I'm back with Caitlin. What is that?
That was my hello face.
Dramatic look.
Yes, it was.
We just went and saw I, Tonya, which is a biographical fic about Tonya Harding starring Margot Robbie and Sebastian Stan.
My love.
He's so pretty.
He is so pretty. Even with
I
his
literally
creepy porno
spent
mustache.
this whole morning before I came to this movie looking at Stucky, which is Steve and Bucky fan art. And then I came to watch this.
Perfect.
I have no shame. And so it's a biopic. Basically covers her entire life, well, her entire skating career, I guess, like up until the moment she gets banned. And it starts off with this little bit that's like, this is the completely ironic, totally true, and utterly contradictory story of what happened. And I like the way that this film was shot because it is like interview portions with all of the characters in what I guess is like current times.
Yeah, it's like The Office style.
Mm-hmm. And then the actual footage. But even in the actual footage, like the reenactment or whatever, they break the fourth wall. Because there are several bits where like Tonya or Jeff look at the camera and they're like, this didn't happen.
I did that. No, I didn't.
No, I didn't.
No.
Yeah. And I liked the way, I thought that it was very clever, the way that they edited those bits together and like the way that the interview came in and out. Also, I just desperately want to know if Allison Janney actually let that bird bite her ear. Because
Probably.
he's like really like
Digging into it. Yeah. Yeah, and she's like, stop it. And I just like kept going. And I think at some point Allison's just like, fine, whatever.
Yeah, just
let's get this shot over with. But she won a Golden Globe for it, and I can tell why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she plays Tanya's mom, who is interesting. So I know we were talking about this, that a lot of people object to this film, or like pre-objected to the film,
Yeah.
I guess, because they were like, oh, it's going to make you feel sympathetic for Tonya Harding, and she is this evil person who destroyed Nancy Kerrigan's career. But how did you feel about it?
I don't think it did that at all. I think it was actually a very solid understanding and telling of the story from Tanya's perspective and from Jeff's perspective and Laverne, her mom's perspective.
Which none of them agree.
Right. And I think it does a really good job of telling this story from all the different sides. And then at the end when they're like, the truth is basically what you make of it. And I think it doesn't make you sympathetic towards Tonya. It makes you understand her more, but not necessarily sympathetic towards her.
It definitely doesn't paint her as like this like
Victim.
Yeah, it's not the kind of person you want to be like, it's okay, I understand, I would have broken her knee too. No,
Right.
You're like, really? That's what you did? What a jerk.
Right.
And even, even her husband, who, like, clearly it is difficult for me to not feel for Sebastian Stan. I was like, he's a jerk and an idiot.
Yeah.
But by far, the standout in this film is Sean.
Yeah, Sean.
So Sean is Tanya's bodyguard, is how he's billed, but I don't know that he was actually
No, he
Tanya's
never was.
bodyguard.
He never was. That was what he claimed to be when they were doing the interviews with the FBI, but he wasn't actually ever her bodyguard. They never paid him to be her bodyguard.
Yeah, he was like Jeff's friend.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure that he would qualify as a friend.
No, Jeff's creepy friend who lives in his parents' basement.
So he's like one of those like pathological liars, I guess. There's this bit where they're doing an interview portion and he's like, I was trained in counter-espionage and I'm a secret agent. And the interviewer goes,
But you're not.
he goes, but I am.
But you're not. We
No.
checked.
No, but I am. I was quoted.
Oh, really? Were you? What were you quoted in?
I think it was a travel magazine.
A few years ago during the Gulf War.
I forgot.
Okay.
And he's just, so in the film, they clearly make it that he is sort of the one that orchestrated this. That what Tonya and Jeff had come up with was sending threatening letters, and that he sort of blew it out of proportion. And like I said, there's no way to know like how true that is. But there is some actual archive footage of interviews with him, and he's clearly a crazy person.
Yes.
And one of my favorite bits in the film is when they start to become suspicious, like the FBI starts to become suspicious, and he's like, Jeff calls him and goes, but how could they know the name Derek? Like, what did you tell them? And he goes, I didn't tell them anything. And then it flashed
And
back.
then it cuts to him telling the story to everybody.
Yeah.
Like the person in the bathroom he was next to, the person at the bar he was with, the person outside his house when he was taking a smoke. Like, he was telling it to everybody.
Yeah, and he's clearly that type of person, like, because, like, every time he's in, he's just gregarious, and he's like, yeah, you know, I've got guys on the inside, you know, and I've got everything planned out. I'm 4 steps ahead. I got the counterintelligence, like, and you can tell that it's just a lie, but he believes it.
Right.
Also, his parents fascinated me.
Yeah.
Because they're in the room the whole time, and, like, he's on TV. Well, he's not even on TV. The article, or, like, sorry, not article, the news story about Nancy getting hit in the knee is on TV, and his parents are, like, recording it, because he's like, look, they know who
yeah,
I
I
am.
did that. Yeah, I'm famous now. I did that. I'm all over TV, and his parents are like, oh, cool, let's record it. You're just like, what?
On the plus side, what supportive parents.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They're very supportive of their son in whatever endeavor. They let him live in their house. They call people on the phone repeatedly, and they record his criminal actions, even if they did tape over
His favorite episode of Star Trek.
Yeah.
So sad.
Yeah. So overall, it was an entertaining movie. I liked that nothing is definite, and that they make that very clear, because, like, clearly that's part of the story.
Even with Sean, you don't necessarily ever know that he told his people to bash her knee in. That could have just been something that the guy did on his own because he was nervous and crazy.
Yeah.
So there's a lot.
Yeah.
I like.
I mean, I feel like it's not the kind of truth. The one thing that I say that this does paint very well is you can tell the devastation when Tonya is told that she will no longer be able to skate in the American Skating, U.S. Figure Skating Association. And,
Right.
like,
And not be associated with it all. That means that she could never be a coach. And that was what was most devastating to her. She was like, well, what if I wasn't banned? She's like, if I was just banned from competing, that would be one thing, even though she wanted to go and try out for the Nagano Olympics in 98, which she probably would have been able to do. But she's like, no, I can't even train. I can't coach anybody. I could, but then I couldn't ever show up and be with them at competition, which is the most important thing with being a coach, is being there at that competition moment. So she's like, I can't even do that because I'm not allowed to show up at
Yeah.
any figure skating competition again.
yeah, like, and it's, like, I would say that is the only moment in the whole film where I was like, wow, I feel for you.
Yeah.
Like, even
Yeah.
if she did it, because, like, you can tell, literally, that is her life. She never finished high school, right? She never got her
She dropped
GED.
out of high school when she was 15.
Yeah, so she never got her GED. She never did anything like that. Like, skating was what it was, and they basically took that away from her. And even if you believe there was this bit when they were interviewing Jeff where he was like, you know, some people believe that.
Oh yeah, Tanya's the one that actually bashed in Nancy's knee, and then
Yeah,
they cut
and
to
I was-
like that happening, and it's kind of funny.
It is really funny. But I was thinking that even if you believe that, I still felt like the punishment was like.
Way too severe.
And she does this bit where she says, send me to jail. You're sending everyone else to jail. 18 months, I'll do 18 months. And I was thinking, wow, like, she's willing to go to jail for 18 months, like, rather than.
Because the line was right. She says, what you've given me is a life sentence.
Yeah.
I can't live anymore. I can't make money anymore. I can't do anything anymore.
And that was pretty devastating. But overall, I enjoyed
Margot
that
Robbie
film.
was amazing.
Yes, she is.
Oh my
and
God.
she got, like, a lot of really good mannerisms. They all did, like, a very, very good job. I can tell why this was, like, critically lauded. So, yeah, if you remember this story, which I don't because, you know, I was a tiny child. But if you remember this story, I would recommend seeing this film. And even if you don't, it's an interesting, like, look. And it's just entertaining.
It's
Because
super entertaining.
it's just as crazy as their interviews are, where none of them remember it the way that it was at all. And I love the contradiction of the interviews with the footage, with the everything. It's great. It's just, yeah, it's a well-orchestrated film.
Very well acted, very well shot. They were talking about how they put camera people on the ice to shoot the people that were on the ice.
Oh my gosh. There's this shot when she starts one of her routines where Caitlin heard me go, oh, it's so pretty. Where she's like looking down and the camera's below her, and then like it's clearly a crane shot as it goes up, and I was like, oh, so gorgeous.
Yeah, the camera work is done really, really well. And I know Margot did some of the skating, but I also know there's a couple of things like the jumps and things that she did not do. And normally you could tell. You can be like, oh, that's obviously a stunt person doing that. But in this one, I could barely tell when they switched her.
I spent a lot of time concentrating on that, so you could see it sort of, but it was pretty well done.
Yeah.
And she certainly got the slower moves down because it was very clearly her.
Yeah. So she could skate a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think she did some of the turns and stuff. Like,
yep, which is impressive. Let me tell you, I'd fall.
Oh, yeah. I can't skate.
So yeah, I recommend this movie. I think I'd give it 4 stars. Like, it wasn't blowing me out of the water, but it was enjoyable. 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I would say that. I think I've seen better.
I mean, this is no Lady Bird, but...
Right. I think I've seen better, but it was very enjoyable. I would have paid for it. I do not mind.
Listen, but you know what we didn't do? Pay for it, because Movie Pass.
Yes.
Everybody should get Movie Pass.
The best deal ever.
All right. And with that, I'll see you tomorrow.